Julie Smith, another of my girlfriends, 2 words. And I said, Julie, I don't understand it. Am I typecast because of the fact that I played chess and the accordion? I joined the band playing the baritone horn with the small tuba. Didn't exactly endear myself to girls either. And she said, Ken, it's not that. I think it's great that you made the team. It's just not the same when you're homeschooled. And, oh yeah, don't laugh. Let me tell you something. You should see the moves my mom had in the field. My dad said to me, he said, son, if your mother had the moves in the bedroom 18 years ago, you might not be here today. Ha ha ha. So, yeah, it didn't work out for me. And at the end of the day, it was just, I went to my senior year, went to the Sadie Hawkins Anthem Katie. And at the end, what I want to leave you with, though, is a final story that I think you're going to enjoy. I wish I could tell you that it was a great ending for me, but I already told you the ending, that Jim Baker got more action than I did in Florida, so I'd be lying if I tried to make something up. But what happens is when you're a guy that doesn't date, you tend to be and get friends with other guys that never date. And I had 3 really good friends, and we were always together. The one thing on Friday night, we always watch Carson. Saturday night, we'd do something, and we were together, and we were really kind of, we had friends who dated. We didn't date, and the one thing that we did is we always talked about dates. Whenever anybody went out, or when we occasionally went out, we were too cool. We used sports vernacular, okay, mainly baseball, to talk about dating. Some of you may have done that as well. So, the last summer before I left to go to, before college, I left and I went to camp. And now let me explain back in the days. When you go to camp in terms of your friends, you might as well be in Siberia, okay? Because when you went to camp, okay, you only got letters from girlfriends if the girlfriend was 1 word. You get girlfriends with 2 words, you're never getting a letter, okay? And as far as phone calls for you young people over there, you didn't make long-distance calls, okay? You better be dead or dying, as expensive as it was to make long, because if you made a long-distance call and you weren't dead or dying, you soon would be when your parents got the bill. So I went off to camp. And I'll never forget, I come home, and my mother says, listen, you got to call Charlie King. 3 good friends of ours, Charlie, with 4 of us, Charlie King, Bob, and Robbie Henry. The guy called. He's called 3 times. I told him I had you call the moment you walked in. So I call him up and I said, what's going on? You called. He goes, okay. Did Robbie write or call you? I said, what are you out of your mind? Did he write or call me? Of course he didn't write or call me. Okay. I'm coming right over. Don't move. No, don't move. So he comes over. Charlie comes over. Comes in. Sits down. He goes, while you were at camp, Robbie went out with Becky Hambrick. I go, what? Yes. He went out with Becky Hambrick. Now, let me tell you Becky Hambrick is. Becky Hambrick was the hottest girl in the school. Okay, when we were in 7th grade, Becky dated 9th graders. When we were in 9th grade, she dated juniors and seniors. When we were in high school, she dated junior college guys. When Becky walked down the hall, she was like a queen. We were like slaves in the old days. You couldn't look directly. You couldn't look funny. We could all tell you what kind of shoes she had, and if she had a bruise on her ankle. But she didn't look at us, and we weren't worthy enough to look at her. So when I said, what are you talking about? Robbie was at home, and all of a sudden, he gets a call from Joyce Goodell. Joyce said, Becky wants to go out with you, call her. And Robbie goes, what? I don't believe it. She said, yes. She thinks you're funny, and she thinks you're cute, and she wants to go out with you. Well, Charlie now starts explaining to me using sports vernacular. He'll catch on, I think, fairly quickly. He goes, yeah, well, Robbie figures he's just sitting on the bench. He's not doing anything. He'll give her a call. He's sure it's a goof, and she's going to laugh at him. Calls her up. She'd love to go out with him. Well, couldn't believe it. So Robbie goes out on Friday night, picks her up, picks Becky up, and, of course, he takes her to putt-putt. Now, let me explain. When you grew up in Clearwater, there were 2 places that you went on dates, okay? Movies and putt-putt. Now, for guys like us, there was really only one choice. You cannot go to the movies. You go to a movie, what do you do with your arm? Do you put it around the chair? Do you let it touch her shoulder? Do you put it on her knee? If you do, she might get mad. If you don't do it, and you don't put your arm around her, she could get mad as well. She can't win. Way too much drama for guys like us. No. When we went out, usually with a girlfriend, 2 words, It was almost a miniature golf putt. I mean, we knew how to handle a putter, so we were really good at putt. I'm not going there. That's cheap. You pay too much money to expect that kind of humor. This is going to be much better than that. Anyway, so Robbie took her out, and he said he couldn't believe it. He had a great time. So they get in the car to drive back, and Becky scoots over and sits on it right by him and puts her hand on his thighs. Are you kidding? Yeah, he can't believe it. So he gets to her house, and of course he's just going to say goodnight, and he thinks, you know what, I'll walk her to the door. We never walk girls to the door. We're not with girlfriends. We open the door to see it. So he walks her to the door, thinking maybe he'll get a quick, move to first base. Anyway, so as he says it, Robbie goes to the door, and Becky says, would you like to come in and watch TV? Well, Robbie had just looked at his watch. It was 11:20. He had time to see Carson. That's what we did on Friday night. He'd be able to see the whole monologue of Johnny Carson. This is going to be great. So they go in, and when they go in, Becky goes, let's go down to the rec base. Well, they had a rec base with a big screen TV. I'll get some, go down. I'll get some Cokes and some cookies. It'll be great. So anyway, so she goes and Robbie goes, this is great, because Robbie had a really loud laugh. He was very, very worried about waking up her father, because it was a little bit late. And she assured him they were 2 floors up. So he gets on the couch and is watching television. Becky comes back with the Cokes and the cookies, puts it down, and scoots really close to him. Well, Robbie can't believe it. He doesn't know. And all of a sudden, he's watching TV and he realizes she's putting her head on his shoulder. And next thing, Robbie decides, you know what? I may go up to the plate and take some swings. Maybe I can get to first base. Well, the next thing you know is Robbie puts it. He gets ready to go to the batter's box, and all of a sudden, boom, intentionally walked. 4 quick pitches, he's on. I don't believe it. I'm saying, I don't believe it. Yeah, he can't believe it. He's on base. That's amazing. No, it's true. Anyway, he's on, and he's on for a while. When we get on first base, there's always 2 outs, and we go right back to the bench after about 2 pitches. Robbie's on there for a while. He's having a great time on first. It's unbelievable. And then Robbie says he gets a sign to go to second. A sign? Yes. If you're on base long enough, there are actually signs to help you proceed around the bases. Are you kidding? No. It's amazing. These signs are very, very confusing. They're designed to throw everyone off except the runner. And even the runner is not necessarily always sure about the signs because they're so secretive. That's fantastic. I know. So anyway, Robbie's on first. He's now thinking about, okay, the sign, I think she wants me to go to second. Well, Robbie is so nervous, but all of a sudden he waits for the right pitch and he heads to second. But he's so nervous, he starts stumbling. As he gets near the base, he dives for it and he overslides the base into left center field. Oh, he is so embarrassed. He knows he's going to be tagged out. He's waiting for the umpire to call him out, but nothing. So he crawls back in. He's safe. Robbie is safe on second. I can't believe it. Yeah, he is really hugging that base. It's unbelievable. This is one of the happiest days of his life. So he's leading off. He keeps coming back. He keeps messing up. He's really a little rough on the bag. All of a sudden, time is called. The groundskeeper comes up. There needs to be some kind of adjustment or some kind of work done on the bag. When you're out there and you see they come up because sometimes the bag comes off a little bit and they just need to kind of get the grip right. Well, anyway, so the groundskeeper comes back. The groundskeeper makes the adjustment. The groundskeeper leaves. All of a sudden, Robbie goes back to the base, starts working on it, and then you are not going to believe what happens. The bag cover comes off. What? The bag cover comes off. Yes, Robbie can't believe it. The bag is exposed. But you know how the Pope, when he visits a country, goes down and he kisses the ground? Well, Robbie is kissing the ground. This is the happiest day of his life. He is kissing everything. He is not a religious guy, but he is thanking Jesus. He's thanking Moses. He's thanking Allah. He's thanking Buddha. Anyway, this is the greatest time that Robbie's ever had. I mean, Robbie's taking a lead. He keeps coming back to the bag. At one point, Robbie's waving to the crowd. This is absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, now Robbie realizes, though, he doesn't want to overstay his welcome. This has been terrific. But Robbie wants to stay and leave and maybe come back and play another day. So Robbie just is thinking about taking himself out of the game, and just when he thinks about it, yeah, it's on me, All of a sudden, Robbie gets a sign. Another sign? Yes. Becky wants him to take third. What? Third base. Third base? Robbie couldn't find third base if he was playing shortstop. I know. But these signs are coming in. Look, Robbie doesn't want to go to third base. Robbie knows two things. First of all, you may be able to fake it at second. You can't fake it at third. Becky may not have known he's never been on second. She's going to know he's never touched third base. And the other thing is, once you touch third, you can't go back to second. Anyway, so Robbie is really, he is really struggling. But these signs are getting stronger and stronger. And all of a sudden, Robbie decides he's going to wait for his pitch, and he's going to take off for third. And all of a sudden, he waits, and he takes off. He's not going to make the same mistake. He's going to make sure he's careful. And he heads to third, and he gets halfway, and he gets tripped up over the bag cover. He forgot he pushed the bag cover between second and third. So now Robbie's in a hell of a mess. He knows he's going to be called out. But he doesn't. He's listening. The umpire, he doesn't hear anything. So he scurries back on the bag and he dives back in. He's still safe. He can't believe his good fortune, but he's still safe. What happened? What happened? Well, you're not going to believe it. Robbie gets up and he's dusting himself off from sliding in. And all of a sudden, he's on third base. What? Yeah. Didn't even draw a throw, went in standing up. I don't believe it. You don't believe it. How do you think Robbie felt? Anyway, so now Robbie's on third base. And I mean, he is really got to be careful. He knows that he's obviously in dangerous territory. So Robbie decides he knows that he has got to avoid making a base running error. He is going to not do anything to make a mistake. And so Robbie makes a pact. Absolutely insists himself, under no circumstances is he going to come off third base. No matter what happens, he is staying on the bag. He has come too far to be picked off now and sent back to the dugout. So Robbie starts kind of just running in place. He doesn't know what to do. He's just trying to shake up the pitcher. He's running in place, and all of a sudden, Robbie hears a voice. Oh no, base running area's out. Yeah, that's what Robbie thinks, and his heart sinks, but he's done the best he could. But no, it's not an umpire. It's actually Becky. Becky is whispering something to him. So Robbie leans down, and Becky wants to know, does he have a base running helmet? What? A base running helmet? Robbie doesn't own a base running helmet. Robbie wouldn't even know where to find a base running helmet. I know. And why do you need a helmet? Well, according to the rules, when the runner reaches third, the runner must put on a helmet. If the runner tries to score without a helmet, he will be stopped and sent back to third. As a matter of fact, it is strongly advised and recommended that when the runner reaches second, the runner put on the helmet, because quite often the runner will try to score by simply touching but not stopping at third. And these helmets must be put on properly and securely. There have been some horrific collisions in front of home plate when the helmet has gone flying off, and both players have to get down on their hands and knees to look for the helmet before play can be started, causing some very, very awkward and embarrassing moments. I guess. So what does Robbie do? Well, Robbie thinks about it. He's trying to keep his cool. He looks down at Becky and he says, I left it at home, but I'll bring it next time. Oh, good answer. Yes, Robbie thinks he's dodged a bullet. But Becky quickly says, that's okay. I've got one in my purse that I think will fit you. Oh, shit. Well, now Robbie's really nervous. I mean, he is thinking. I mean, this is unbelievable. And Robbie thinks about two things. First of all, he has never dealt with a base running helmet. And this is certainly no time to try to figure it out now. And number two, Robbie has made a sworn pact that under no circumstances is he coming off that third base bag. So based on those two scenarios, it is impossible for him to handle a helmet. Oh, God, I can't believe it. So what does Robbie do? Well, Robbie thinks about it, so he looks down at Becky and says, that's great. Would you mind putting it on for me? And Becky says, No problem. I'll be happy to. Well, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can't believe it. So anyway, so Becky takes out the helmet and gets ready. Oh my God. Oh my God. Robbie scored. Robbie scored. No, not exactly. What? Not exactly. He got thrown out the plate? Are you kidding me? He went to the plate and said, no, he didn't get thrown out the plate. He got picked off at third after all he said. No, he didn't get picked off at third. Well, I don't understand. I don't understand. Well, according to Robbie, just as Becky was getting ready to put the helmet on him, a bolt of lightning hit the field. A bolt of lightning? Yes, a bolt of lightning. Robbie didn't see the lightning, but it hit so close to him, he immediately felt the electricity permeate throughout his body. Uh-oh. Robbie knew that Becky was in grave danger. He screamed out her name at the top of her lungs, but it was too late. A violent eruption of rain occurred, totally drenching the field. The groundskeeper came out and this time was furious, and Robbie was thrown out of the game. And when Robbie left, as soon as it left, the action came to an abrupt halt. And Becky, like so many women before her, was left angry, frustrated, and unfulfilled because, as the official score put it, the sudden and unexpected stoppage of action due to the runner's premature ejection. Thank you very much for coming out. Enjoy the rest of the dessert here.